Presbyterian answer to hunger, the 2 cents per meal program, potentially could develop a $600,000 or $700,000 fund that could really solve some of these problems in a country like Haiti. That's the poorest country in this hemisphere, and the number that die daily it's obvious. I mean, you go to the Catholic charities that operate and take the children who are abandoned, and you find the kids die every day. I mean, it's just commonplace. Hunger is pretty rampant. Nobody knows if they're going to eat tonight or tomorrow, whether they'll have anything. So anyway, to answer those problems, I'd researched it along with others in the Presbyterian Church, and we identified a group called Haiti Fund Incorporated in New Bern, North Carolina. So what they've essentially done is developed a cash crop, which is tilapia, a form of native African fish, which the red tilapia that they are growing in Haiti is mistaken for fish that are found in the ocean, as snapper. So what we've done as a presbytery is taken our share of 1/4 of the 2 cents per meal funds, which amounts to around $20,000 to $25,000 a year, and we're trying to use that money to aid the production of fish. So it would appear that if we're successful this year augmenting the food that is native in Haiti, we ought to be able to produce 300,000 pounds of protein. Protein is the name of the game. If you go back to 1 ounce per day required to feed a young child, that amount of protein would translate into several 100,000 food days, protein food days. It will have a profound effect on the ability to feed some of these children in Haiti.
Very few Americans have any concept of the problems that day-to-day living present to a person in Nicaragua or in Haiti. Most Nicaraguans, when they get up in the morning, don't know if they're going to eat that day. It's not what they're going to eat, it's if they're going to eat at all. The biggest problem in these third world countries, as I'm sure most people are aware, is deforestation. They have to cut the wood because they have no other source of energy. Neither Nicaragua nor Haiti have any petroleum reserves. They have no coal, no other ready source of energy. They can't afford to import oil. So if poor people are to heat their food, they have to use wood. But basically we have a country with a lot of small landowners who don't know what to do with the land, and starvation is a big problem. Abject poverty is the normal situation. Unemployment exceeds 85% in the countryside, 65% in the cities. Farming is not intuitive, even though you were born and raised on a farm, and especially small-scale subsistence farming, which is what we are attempting to teach in Nicaragua. It's possible to feed a family of 4 to 6 people on a half acre of land if it's farmed intensively. We started trying to do this with cattle, and it just doesn't work on small pieces of land. We emphasize chickens and goats and rabbits, the forage crops to feed them, and food crops for the people. We know from experience that the best way for people to learn about what's going on in these countries and to get a first-hand view of how serious the problem is for them to come with us. We encourage everyone who is physically able to make an effort to make at least one mission trip in their lifetime with us, either Haiti or Nicaragua, either one, to share their lives for however brief a period with these people, to get some idea of the struggles they face on a daily basis, and to see how successful the Presbyterian answer to hunger programs are in place in the countries where they're needed.
Society of St. Andrew is a nonprofit 501c3 hunger relief ministry. We do a couple of operations, go into farm fields after they've been harvested commercially, pick up the food that's left over, and actually take it to feed people through soup kitchens, food banks, homeless shelters, church pantries, wherever they work on hunger relief issues. We also recover food through large bulk loads of produce that might be rejected through the normal grocery packing process. You'd be amazed at the produce that goes to waste in this country. If you went to the Department of Agriculture and asked them how many hungry people there are in the United States, recognizing that the United States is the most powerful and affluent nation on earth, the answer that you would get is about 32 million per year don't know where their next meal is coming from on a daily basis. The most amazing statistic, though, is that there's about 96 billion, that's with a B, pounds of produce goes to waste every year in this country. Most of the food comes from either through our gleaning network. Gleaning is actually a biblical concept started way back in Leviticus times, where the Lord said, don't go over your fields a second time, but leave what's in the corners for the poor, the hungry, the aliens, and the widows. So we actually go into a field after it's been harvested commercially. We're not looking for a handout, we're just looking for what's left over and recover the produce that is there. Our name, Society of St. Andrew, actually comes from Andrew's role in the feeding of the 5,000. Andrew was the disciple who was always introducing people to Jesus throughout Scripture. That was kind of his role in life at that time. And when Jesus was feeding the 5,000 in one of the renditions, I think it's in Mark's Gospel, he was actually he told his disciples, you know, have the people sit down and we'll find them some food to eat. And they said, well, how can we do this? You know, we take 8 months' wages to provide everybody enough food to eat. He says, no, I have a plan here. He didn't say that per se, but he had a plan in mind what he was going to do. And he says, I want you to give them something to eat. And we take that as a command to us to find food, to give people to eat.
The Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida has been in operation for 20 years. Essentially what we do is work with the food industry to collect the food they have that they cannot sell. It's primarily overproduction, test market items, manufacturing errors, changes in marketing, just a whole variety of reasons why the food industry has large volumes of food that they can't sell. Here in Central Florida, we have really a serious problem, in part because of so many working poor families. We know that 1 in 10 Central Floridians at some time last year had to seek assistance through an emergency food pantry. And we know that 46% of those served were children. So it is families. When I refer to the working poor, I am talking about the fact that of the households served last year, a full 50% of them had a family member who was working. And with the changes in our economy, full-time jobs have cut to part-time jobs, or full-time jobs have gone away, part-time jobs have gone away, and there are more and more families struggling. So the safety net of an emergency food pantry is extremely important. What that does is provides the family the opportunity to make decisions. Decisions like paying for a prescription instead of feeding the family, or getting the rent payment made, because that safety net at the emergency food pantry is there. The problem of hunger in the United States is so unnecessary. We are a rich country, rich in food resources, transportation addressed so well in this country, which is one of the problems in many foreign countries. There just is no reason for us to have the problem of hunger. No reason for us to be worrying about our children in school during the day hungry because they haven't eaten. No reason for families who are working to have to worry about how and when, where they'll feed their children. There is a gospel mandate to feed the hungry, and the Second Harvest Food Bank helps fulfill that mandate. So I certainly approach the work that I do daily as ministry, as mission, and I think so do every food donor, every volunteer, every staff member approach it from that standpoint.